I now like to look at how we can invite guests to our Azure AD Microsoft 365 environment. It's actually pretty easy. The idea of guest involves you might have somebody that is not part of your organization, yet you would like to invite them to your organization temporarily. Okay, a good example of this is I think I've told you, you might know this already. I'm a consultant and I've done work with various companies. I actually did a project directly with Microsoft a couple of years ago, and during this project, they invited me as a guest to their Azure environment so that I could take part in teams and all of that. And so they sent my email address and invite. I accepted that invite. And then at that point, I had access to utilize the services that they've made available to me. Now, a guest account essentially has the same rights mostly as a regular user. The only difference is that usually we use these things called access reviews in Azure to verify that a guest user still needs access. So they're a little bit more monitored than regular users. They do get to use personal email addresses and all that to authenticate. So they don't get they don't get an email address like the examlabpractice.com one that my users would get. Okay, they get to use their own email address. So I got to use my own email address when I was signing into Microsoft's Azure AD environment. And what happens though is these accounts are more heavily monitored and reviewed, and like you might even schedule what's called an access review to happen every 2 weeks, and all guests have to be verified that they still need access, and if not, they get revoked. So even though I needed access 2 years ago to their Microsoft environment, I'm done with that project, and so I haven't tried to log on, but I'm assuming they probably deactivated my service now, so I can't log on to their environment anymore. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Here I am on portal.azure.com. I'm going to click the menu button here, go to Azure Active Directory. All right, and we're going to, once that pops up, we'll go to Users. And then from there, we're going to click to create a new user, and we'll say Invite External User. So this is what your external user is going to be, a guest user. And so from there, I could specify this person's email address, okay? Like, let's say that this person is a consultant or a contractor. We'll say, let's say Todd Jones at itconsulting.com. All right. So let's say that was a, IT consultant that's going to be working with us. We could set the display name, send an invite message. Hey, Todd, please accept the invite. And I could also, of course, CC myself here, that we're sending this invite. Then I could click next. We could fill out all this information. This user is a guest, not a regular member, right? We could specify a manager if we wanted, emails if we want, specify a usage location because this user will get licenses just like regular users will. We would click assignments. We could add them to a group, add them to a role. Not going to get into the details on that right now, but then I would click review and create. And at that point, I would click invite, which I'm not going to do because there isn't really anybody out there that's going to accept the invite. But all they got to do is accept the invite, and then they can get access to the resources that we give them access to, and we can license this user just like we do other users. Okay. So this happens, and one thing you can do if you are doing this on your end, one thing you can do for fun is try sending your personal email account an invite and invite yourself and try logging on. So that's a little task you can try if you want for some extra credit hands-on. All right. Let's jump over to portal.microsoft.com now. Look at this in the admin center over here. So in the Microsoft 365 side of things, if we drop down the user's blade, you're going to see there's a blade called guests. So you would click that blade and you would click add a guest. And at that point, wait on that to load up. Notice what it does. You do it through the portal.microsoft.com, and look what it does. It just kicks you back over here into the Azure portal. So invite, so it's the same exact thing, same process, you know, and you fill out the information and you do the invite. Okay. So that is how we can invite guests. I'm not getting into a lot of the details on you know, monitoring guests, but I will just simply say there is features that are used for heavily monitoring our guest users that can come in handy. In the feature is called access reviews. So we can use what is called access reviews. If I go over to identity governance, you'll see access reviews right here. And then what we can do is we can have guests periodically be checked more often and be watched more often. And then what happens is they can, you know, it sends an email reminder to a certain manager or something every month, and the manager reviews the guest accounts and decides if that person still needs access. So that's one of the things that's a little different than regular users. Yes, you can use access reviews on regular users as well, but guest is one of the major things that we do this on, our guests or external users as they're also referred to. All right, well, hopefully that helps you now understand the concept of guest users.